family, what's good? This is your girl, I'm the Bronze Goddess, and I'm actually here today to talk to you guys a little bit about positive thinking. Now, I am a firm believer that the life that you're currently living is a result of things you have thought about yourself and things that you have said about yourself. The Bible says, for life and death are in the power of the tongue. You should have whatever that you sayeth. You know, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. There's so many scriptures that talk about your thoughts and your words. And a lot of us are blessing and cursing ourselves by what we say. So you definitely want to make sure that you are blessing yourself by being positive. Because when you start being negative, it really becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So whether you're saying, I'm always going to be broke, or I'm always going to be single, or I'm never going to get the job that I want, I'm never going to live the life that I want, you can claim those things. Just like you can claim positive things, you can also claim negative things. So the last thing you want to do is curse your own life. But I really believe in the power of positive thinking, because I feel like everything that I'm doing, my life that I'm currently living, are things that I wrote down, things that I thought, things that I said to myself. And I'm being a lot more conscious of it, like what I keep in my mind space. I just recently read the book, The Untethered Soul, and it really helped me to identify that I have voices in my head. And I know that people, when you hear that, you automatically think, okay, she's crazy. But no, we all have voices in our heads. And, you know, sometimes if we're not careful and we don't rein those voices in, they can really tell us negative things. And I was watching this video from Oprah the other day. I know I'm all over the place, but I have a lot I want to talk to you guys about. Watching this video from Oprah the other day, and she was talking about what lie or what story have you been telling yourself? And, you know, the people started standing up, and somebody said, I have been telling myself that unless I am extremely successful in business, my father won't be proud of me. And another person stood up and said, the lie that I have been telling myself, or the story that I have been telling myself, is I'm not as pretty as my sisters, and that's why they're married and I'm not. And it really helped me to identify, okay, what story or what lie have I been telling myself that I have to change the narrative of? If you're not careful and you're letting your thoughts run rampant, they will tell you lies. Lies that you believe if you're not being conscious enough, aware enough to say, you know what, that's actually not true. I'm going to share a personal story with you guys. So one time I was actually going to my hometown. You guys know I live in Atlanta, but I'm from Charleston. So I went to my hometown with my family, and I wanted to see my parents and, you know, just kind of really having a good time while I was there, seeing some family and things like that. So while I was there, I was trying to reach my dad at the time. And I couldn't reach him for some reason, and you know, I started having these thoughts. You know what? You're a grown woman. It's not like when you were a kid and your dad was happy to see you and all this kind of stuff. You know, maybe your dad's just a little bit too busy, or you know, all these thoughts started running through my mind, because I was calling him and I couldn't get through to him, and I was like, he knows I'm in town. Like, why wouldn't he call me back? And all this kind of stuff. And I was just really starting to get a little bit down on myself. So then, you know, my dad finally calls me back. He's like, don't move, I'll be there in like 5 minutes. We were in his driveway. So my dad pulls up. He's got these bags and bags of groceries. And he's like, I'm so happy that you're here. He gives me this huge bear hug. And he tells me how much he loves me and that he wants us to make dinner together like we used to. The reason why he was taking so long is that he didn't want me to leave and go back home without making dinner with him. And we made dinner and we had this great conversation. And I remember driving back to Atlanta, and I was like, what the heck was I thinking? My dad had never given me any reason to think that he was too busy for me, or that I was too old, and all these different thoughts that had run through my mind. And I was like, I can't believe for a second I believed that lie that I had told myself. And I said, I will never think that thought again. My daddy loves me. He's proud of me. But that's just a small example of sometimes our mind goes crazy, and it tells us these things about ourselves that's not true. You're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not this enough or that enough. But these are lies. They are, and all of it is really stemming from fear. Fear that you're going to be rejected. I was reading this book the other day that's called The Magic of Positive Thinking, and it was talking about how we often self-depreciate ourselves. We sell ourselves short oftentimes. We convince ourselves of these lies. I want you to tell me in the comment section below, what lie have you been telling yourself that you know is a lie, that you can identify and say, you know what, I denounce this thing. This is not true. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they told me something. And normally in my head, I say, you know what, I reject that. But I literally said it out loud this time. I said, you know what, I'm not going to accept that. That is not true. That might be true for you, but it's not true for me. Like, I literally said that. Like, I refuse to accept it. And that thing that we were talking about changed in a matter of days. And I believe that it was because I rejected it right then and right there. I will not adopt that philosophy. That is not me. That is not going to happen. Right then and there. Because I believed in myself, and I believed what I knew what I could do. Like the little quote here says, I am limitless. I talked about it in my recent video. You are only limited by your beliefs. At some point, everybody did something for the first time. The chair that you're sitting in, it is a result of a thought that somebody had. A thought they probably told to somebody else and they thought they were crazy. Everything results from a thought. My daddy used to tell me all the time, a word triggers a thought triggers action, and action triggers results. Everything is a result of thoughts. What you have, even you wouldn't be here if somebody didn't think about it. Everything is a result of thoughts. That's why it's so important that you are careful about what you're allowing to come into your mind space, that you don't rent out your head space to people who aren't worthy, to unworthy tenants. Be careful, be allowed to take your time and rein in those voices that tell you things about yourself that you know are not true. Reject them immediately. You know what? I'm not going to accept that. I know how you feel. I know you're just stating your opinion. I get it, but I don't believe it. I don't share your opinion. Shut people down when they tell you things about yourself that you know are not true. Anyway, I'm not going to get too much into it, but I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you've taken something away from it. Be sure to tell me in the comment section, what lie have you been telling yourself that you will no longer tell yourself? Because when you find yourself and when you know who you are, you attract somebody who also knows what you are and who you are. But when you're lost, are you going to find other men who are lost as well? He's not going to give you what you want because he never really had to.